Morning all. Let me get to my page because I'm not able to see anything that you guys are saying. How's everyone doing today? Did I do it right this time? Yes, I did. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you? uh, all right. Fear of disappointment. Gonna get into it. And as usual, I speak off of my own personal experiences, hoping that the journey that I'm going through or that I go through somehow resonates with you and assists you in your own journey. And also so that you know you're not so alone. Sometimes we go through things and we swear we're the only people going through them. And we think no one else could possibly understand what's happening or what's going on in my brain. I'm the crazy cuckoo one, right? So we're going to make sure that that's not happening. All right. Fear of disappointment. Oftentimes, when I speak with, I don't want to say that, there's this fear of things going too right. We get scared when things are going well. And then we get into this scenario where we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. We become afraid that this is too good and that somehow karma or life or higher power won't allow us to just have happiness. We've been conditioned to believe that we're supposed to suffer with moments of happiness as opposed to the other way around, where we are happy and at peace with moments of suffering. And so because of that, there's a fear of disappointment. When we live this way, when we live waiting for the other shoe to drop, when we live in a state of fear that whatever good we have is going to be taken from us, we actually close ourselves off from the reception of the more that we're wanting. So I've been noticing this in my own space, in my own life, and I've always seen it. It comes in the form of imagining the most disastrous things happening, right? Like I'm trying to prepare my nervous system for the worst possible events to happen. And I imagine them in my head and I can feel it in my body. And I take time to do this, especially when things are going well or when I'm in a space where there's about to be a very significant change. And I've spoken about this before. This is part of the protection mechanism of the ego, right? The ego doesn't care if you're happy or sad. The ego doesn't care if you get what you want. The ego wants to just make sure that you are safe and you don't get hurt. The ego's job is to have you avoid feeling pain. And when we understand and fully embody and understand the fact that life, part of the journey of life is pain, there's no escaping that, then we can start to enjoy the happiness and the peace and knowing that there are going to be moments of pain because that's part of the process. So this often shows up in our lives as self-sabotage. where things will be going fine and then we'll fuck it up on purpose, subconsciously, like on purpose, but not, like none of us have a plan to do it, right? We don't have a plan to fuck it up, but things will start to get triggered. It's like we've reached our threshold of joy, and the ego will come in and be like, this is the ceiling. Now we got to start to do some things to bring it back down to the level that we're accustomed to, where we feel safe, because this ceiling right here, we can't go past that. So if we're in a relationship, it looks like petty arguments. It looks like accusing our partner of things that they actually didn't do. It looks like digging for stuff to fight about, to fulfill this pattern and process that we have within us, to stop us from experiencing too much joy, because it's literally uncomfortable for our system. And so we must do things, because the fear of disappointment, the fear of being let down, like we've reached our threshold and our capacity. So how do we deal with this? Like, how do we extend our threshold? Part of it is the hardest part to me, is increasing our ability to believe. To believe. To, as my teacher was saying yesterday to me, to know that we are protected. And the truth of it is that if you have a threshold of joy, you don't actually feel like you're protected. You don't feel safe. So the ego stepping in. So then you literally have to start doing things and coming up with practices that help you feel safe within yourself, whether that's meditation, prayer, other embodiment practices, which I'm going to start getting into learning even more about on a deeper level, because this is something that I think is key for us as all people, is this glass ceiling of joy that we have. And how do we break through that on the other side, so that we're not trying to pull ourselves back into scarcity, into fear, into it's never going to be this, into I'm never going to have that. Because even if let's say you want to build a business, you'll reach a certain point. That'll be your personal ceiling. And you won't go past that. You won't go past it, because your psyche won't allow you to break through to a space that says, I can have more, and it's okay, and I deserve it. So I think I'm going to actually do a little bit more work on that, because I want to come up with some practical tools and refine the tools that I'm using in my life now. I'm not at the space where I feel confident enough in teaching you the tools that I'm using to break through this ceiling. Because it's like, so because what happens is, you kind of break through it and you drop, and that's really the journey of life, by the way. It's not like you don't just reach somewhere. Even when you're doing your work and you're growing and shifting, like you grow and shift and you're like, yes, and then something happens and pulls you back back down, but in a different way. But you don't stay there as long. You don't stay there so long, because you have tools to use, and you're like, oh, I've been here before. Now I'm here, and you're up a little higher. And then it happens again, and then you get out a little faster. So I've been personally working through these the beliefs that have kept me at this level, or when I break through that want to try and bring me back down again. And it's not an easy task. It's literally feels like you're fighting fighting yourself. And it's frustrating. So I want to refine some of those things before I bring them to you all. But I do want you to think today about where your glass ceiling of joy is. Where's your threshold when it comes to what you want, deserve, If you're in a relationship, where do you find yourself trying to sabotage it? Trying to mess it up because this is just too good to be true. The fear that, you're going to give your all to something and your heart might be shattered if it doesn't turn out the way you expect it to. Where's your glass ceiling of joy when it comes to your money, to your wealth? Where like you're imagining and you've got all these ideas in your mind about what you want to buy and get, but there's still this part of you that's right here that just won't move the needle forward. And I say glass ceiling of joy because it sucks, because you'll be here and the ceiling will be above you and you can see the you and the experiences and things that you want to have. It's just that the fear of getting to that spot and the fear of losing it, right? Because can like the idea is, here I know what it is. I get there, yay, and I'm so happy, and what if it all goes? I like the devastation, the hurt, the pain. We feel like we just couldn't survive it. And so our egos beautifully and masterfully keep us in a space where we can feel safe and comfortable. But that also means that we don't get to experience the fullness that we really came here to experience. So I'm going to work on refining my tools. As I do that, I will share them with you all. I'll probably share them live as I do share my processes here. Because I, for me personally, I'm seeing where my glass ceilings are. And I'm seeing the struggle, the literal fight that I sometimes feel like I'm having in this. I'm here, and the ego's like, nah. And it's like, but I'm really here, and the ego's like, nah. And the back and forth. And it's not a fun journey. So if I can make anything a little bit easier for you, give you a little bit more of a blueprint so that you're not throwing bombs to fuck up your own life, so that your subconscious doesn't feel too scared. If I could help you throw one less bomb, then it would help me. Because then it's like, it was worth it. All right, so take time today and think about your glass ceiling of joy. Like, where are you stopping yourself? Where in your life is there something that you're saying to yourself, I really want, desire, all of that, but you find that you have to be honest, but you find that you are stopping yourself from proceeding forward out of fear of being disappointment, fear of being let down, fear of losing it. You start from there. Start being honest about that. And then we can roll forward. I think I might talk on this more tomorrow. I don't know yet. You know me. We'll see. Anyway, that's it for today. I love you all. Enjoy your Thor's day. It's a good money working day, by the way, and the moon is waning. So I'm about to go light some debt cancellation candles. So time to like sweep all that shit away, like clear the field. Yeah, I'll leave you with that tidbit, right? I love you.